In this tutorial, we'll be taking a look at the UPC-EAN Check Digit function in eFORMz. If you have a EAN 8, EAN 13, or UPC-A or UPC-E barcode and it doesn't have a check digit, that check digit can be calculated in eFORMz. In this example, we're going to look at a UPC-A string, pick that up, place the barcode, and calculate the check digit. So first, we're going to take the UPC-A string, left-click and drag over it, right-click and select Add Variable. And we're simply going to call this UPC-A data. And then what we're going to do is we're going to left-click and drag that same string of characters again, right-click and select Add Variable. And we're going to call this variable UPC-A Check Digit. And this is the variable that we're going to use for our actual calculation of the check digit. This UPC-A data variable is going to be used for the placement of the barcode itself. So that's why we made two variables with the same information, and we'll see that a little more clearly when we place the barcode and the check digit. So here's how we calculate the check digit. We right-click the UPC-A check digit variable here we've created and select Add Function and UPC-EAN Check Digit, and it's there. We see in the variables window that the UPC-A data, it's the string we picked up, but the check digit has been calculated, and it's 5. We can go into the details of how you can manually double check that later on in this video. So we have our check digit created, but we want to place our barcode, and we also want to place it with the first character, next 5 characters, and then the next 5 characters after that, along with the check digit. That is very common with UPC barcodes. So to do that, we're going to add a variable by position. And there's many ways you can do this, but one easy way is simply just to right-click variables, select Add Variable by Position, and the variable dialog box will display. And we're going to call this first character. And select OK. And we're going to set the value of this variable by right-clicking and selecting Add Function, Set Value. And we're going to set it to the UPC-A data variable. And we'll go into why we do that in a moment. But once we have selected that, it'll set the value to that UPC-A data variable. And what we'll do is we're going to right-click again and select Add Function Substring. So what we're doing here with this first character is we're going to try to basically take the first character from the UPC data string, because what is again often done with UPC barcodes, UPC-A or UPC-E, is you're going to want the placement of first character, next 5, check digit below the barcode, and we're going to do that as is custom here. So what we'll do is we're going to take the first character, which is starting at the position of 0 for one number of characters. So what that is it's going to grab the very first character, which should be the number 0 if we look over here to our variables window. So we'll select OK, and there it is. We still have the number 0, which was the very first character of our string. So we've picked up our first character. The next thing we want to do is we want to take the next 5. So we can, again, right-click and select Add Variable by Position. And we'll call this Next 5. And select OK. And to Next 5, we're going to right-click, select Add Function, Set Value. And we're going to take that UPC-A data variable again and set it to that. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do that substring function once again. We'll right-click the variable, select Add Function, and Substring. And we're going to obviously change the position. And we're going to change that to 1. This will pick up the second character, which will be the number 7 in our string, as you can see down here in the variables. It's a little counterintuitive sometimes when you're thinking, well, shouldn't character 1 be 1, but it counts as 0 as a number. So you're going to start here with the second character when you say the number 1. And for the number of characters, we want it to be 5. And that'll pick us up all the way from characters 2 through 6. And we'll select OK. And there we have it. We have characters 2 through 6, starting with 7, ending with 8, being picked up. Of course, we want to do this again with the next 5 characters, because it goes with the first character, next 5, and then followed by the check digit. So what we're going to do is we'll right-click that variables icon, select Add Variable by Position, and we'll call this the last 5. And select OK. And once we have the last 5 variable, what we're going to do is right-click that and select Add Function and Set Value. And again, we're going to set it to the variable UPC-A data and select OK. And then we're going to right-click the variable again, select Add Function and Substring. And here we're going to put the starting character position at 6 and the number of characters at 5. And select OK. And we have our last 5 characters. So we've got our first character, next 5, and last 5. Obviously we have our check digit, which would be the final character we would place beneath the barcode, and we have the basis for our barcode. But even though we have all of the information, we haven't placed anything. So we're going to go ahead and use rules to place this barcode. So we'll right-click in the second pane, the bottom pane of the viewer here, which is the form and data merged together. We'll select Add Rule and 1D barcode, and we'll go ahead and just leave the rule as is and use variable UPC-A data, and this will place our barcode. And we'll select the barcode type. We want it to be UPC-A, of course, and we do want it to generate checksum. That way we'll have the checksum automatically generated when the barcode is scanned. It'll have that checksum. And we'll select OK. And let's go ahead and drag it to where we would like it. And there it is. So we've got a nice look to it. But we want to place our numbers below it and on the side of it. So we're going to right-click next to the barcode, select Add Rule, and Place Text. And we're going to select that first character and select OK. Here you can change the font, and this might be important if you're printing, for example, with a zebra printer and you want to use a ZPL font. This could be important. You can select the change font. Right now I'm using Courier. But if you're printing to ZPL, you can choose any one of our ZPL fonts. We'll go with ZPL-F here. And you can adjust the characters per inch, make it really specific. We'll go 12.7 here. And go ahead and select OK. And select OK. And there it is. We have placed the first character. And I kind of want to drag that down a little bit here. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And we have our first character. Let's go ahead and put our next 5 in. So we can right-click, select Add Rule, Place Text, and here we'll take our next 5 and select OK. Again, I'm going to change the font to ZPL-F just to keep things consistent. And obviously if you're printing to a zebra printer and you need a zebra font, this would be important to have everything in that font. Select OK and drag it down here. And that looks pretty good. And we'll do it again. Right-clicking, selecting Add Text, or Add Rule and Place Text. And we'll select last 5 characters. Select OK. Change the font again. And make it 12.7. Select OK. OK. There we go. Drag it to where we would like it. And that's looking pretty good. And now for the final part, we will place our check digit. We will right-click, select Add Rule, replace text, and select UPC-EAN Check Digit, that variable we created a while back. Select OK, change the font to the ZPL font we've been using, and keep everything consistent character-wise. 12.7 should work. OK, and there it is. So we have successfully placed a UPC-EAN barcode and generated a check digit for it that should work. Everything should check out. So the text characters of the UPC-EAN data string will display below the UPC-EAN barcode. In this instance, the data string for the UPC-EAN barcode is 07567816412. And obviously there's no check digit. But the UPC-EAN check digit function obviously calculated it to be 5. How do we know that? How do we confirm that? Well, if you wanted to do it manually, and it's a bit of figuring calculation-wise manually, but if you wanted to double check it, you certainly could. You would first add all of the odd number digits. So you would add 0, 5, 7, 1, 4, and 2. You would add those all together, and it would give you a total of 19. Next, you would multiply the result by 3. So it would be 19 times 3, and that's 57. From there, you would add the even number digits, 7, 6, 8, 6, and 1, which gives us the sum of 28. You would add the two results together, 57 and 28, which would give you a total of 85. Then, to finish calculating it, you would take the result divided by 10, so 85 divided by 10, and you would take the remainder and subtract from 10. So the remainder would be 8.5, and you would subtract 10 from 8.5. The result would be negative 1.5. The quotient is 1, and the remainder is 5, so the check digit is 5. That's obviously complicated, which is why we have our UPC-EAN check digit function. And again, if you need to calculate the check digit, we recommend putting it to use.